Thank you for tuning into the podcast, and thanks to our sponsor, SS96. Still rocking with us in 2022, and it's so amazing. We appreciate you. SS96 is putting out new merch and still has some of your favorites. Get your Executive Productions t-shirts, Swish Masters t-shirts, as well as Farm Raised Entertainment t-shirts. Don't forget to check out Straight Stoners music, as well as my own release under Executive Productions. It's available on all streaming platforms, and new music is in the works, so stay tuned. Go to ss96.net and use the promo code SWISHMASTERS to get this kind of merch today. Thank you all again. We're grateful. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Swish Masters podcast. I am your co-host, Zay, the executive producer.
I'm your co-host, Q the Guru. Zay, what's up, man?
What's happening, Q? Man, it's been a lot of action this week, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost that time for All-Star weekend. And of course, before the All-Star, you got the trade deadlines and all this talk going on. But before we get to the trade deadline stuff, let's actually talk about the full All-Star list that was recently announced. So, guys, in the last podcast, we talked about the starters. We really weren't sure who the reserves would be, but now we have the full list of the reserves.
Oh, yeah.
So, Zay, give us the full list real quick.
All right. So, we already know our starters in the East. Let's go to the reserves. We got my guy, Jimmy Butler, representing the Miami Heat. Shout out to Jimmy. First-time All-Star Darius Garland for the Cleveland Cavaliers, hometown hero. James Harden. We expected that. Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, and Fred VanVleet, also a first-time NBA All-Star. In the West, we got Devin Book from the Phoenix Suns, number one team in the West right now. Luka Doncic, he's a young magician with the basketball. Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Karl Anthony Towns. Pretty good group right here. Looking at it, I'm for the most part I agree, but everybody has different opinions.
Yeah, as you read the list, I'm like, there's no one that was just like not. Maybe I already talked about it last week about the starters, right? Yeah. But going through the reserves, I have no issue with the people that made it. I can see they can get in. And there are some people who didn't get in. I was like, it can go either way. But overall, I am satisfied with the All-Star teams. And again, the captains for the East is Kevin Durant. For the West, LeBron James. No brainer there.
Absolutely. It's crazy, man. When you say that, just saying that Kevin Durant is the captain of the East and LeBron is captain of the West, like 5 years ago, that was completely different.
Good point.
But it's really cool to see. I hate that KD's not going to be able to play, but
True.
KD did say that he's looking to improve on his team because he thought he was going to have the best team last year, and now people are going to be questioning his GM skills. So I'm interested to see how this works.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. So now that we have the full list, let's go through some questions real quick. Who is the biggest snub? We have the full list now. Is there a player that you feel is like deserves to be an All-Star but we just left off the list?
There's always going to be a snub, but I feel like I think that the Jonte Murray has really been solid for the Spurs, even though they're not really in a place to contend. Jonte Murray has been awesome. I want to say he's averaging around 19 and 6. And they may not have won that many games, but he's the reason that they have won any games. I feel like he's been solid. He's been growing every year. Came back from an ACL injury stronger. Has looked great. I think he's having sort of a breakout season, and I probably would have. If anybody, I go with him. I say that he was the most deserving to make it, just because of the great season that he's had after, injuries and everything else.
Gotcha. That's a good pick. And again, by snub, y'all, we mean players. A lot of players are well deserving to be an all-star.
A lot of
based on
players.
stats alone and success. And there are so many people that can be on the list. However, so there are always going to be some type of snub. But the question we're asking is who's the biggest snub? That means who is having a good season that deserving to be an all-star but didn't make the list. Just want to clarify that for people that, we ain't doing that. We ain't talking about people like that. We just giving our opinion on who will we mind seeing in there, who just so had to be left off. Anyway, for me, I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna go with Jared Allen. So, because first of all, the Cavs right now, they are 32-21. I don't think anyone has suspected the Cavs to be in this position. Shout out to the coach. Shout out to that,
For sure.
that squad they got over there.
Yep.
So, and he is one of the leading players, really one of the franchise players. So, to not have him on there, but instead you have Darius Garland. Again, shout out to Darius Garland. He's also one of those players. But Jared Allen plays a key role, defensive anchor. And so that also leads us to question we talked about a little bit last week about the role of the center, and the centers not being fully recognized as they probably deserve. Because based on the list, Nikola Jokic is one. Rudy Gobert. That's
Joel
two.
Embiid.
Yeah, that's
And Cat.
Yep. That's about it.
Four true centers
That's four.
between two All-Star teams. I mean,
That's something. Because in the East alone, there's only one true center in the East. That's Joel Embiid.
that's it. Yep.
That's it. So that's in the East is where we're getting some. The West had more true centers on the ballot.
Yep.
Than players from the East, and that just tells you just the framework of the position, how it's just shifting to more of a forward role. And again, I could argue some of these players in the East they can play the center position, but it's not the same thing though.
Yeah.
Again, the only one is Cat, and NBA.com listed him as a center forward, so I don't know if that counts. So I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. So in total, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you said, 4. Out of like how many total? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12. So 24. So really, that's what we doing? Just 4 out of like.
The big man gets
24?
overlooked, man. It's
4 out of 24 NBA. You tell me you got no. Because like I said about Jerry Allen, he could be deserved for All-Star, not as a center.
He's been solid for ever since his time in Brooklyn. He's been a solid player, and I think this year in Cleveland he's taking on a bigger role. And him and Mobley in that front court, I mean, the Cavs are legit because of those two. Like,
oh yeah,
I feel like they have a great young team, and Jared Allen, he does the dirty work. He gets rebounds, he blocks shots, he's able to finish at the rim on the pick and roll. Like, he's solid, but I feel like the way the game is, everyone wants to play fast, play small, and it was funny because I was watching, I think some game recaps, and they were actually showing some highlights of players playing their back to the basket in the post. And I was like, it's been a long time since I've seen just some game recap or highlights where I'm seeing players, back to the basket, drop step, hook shot over somebody, like a big man. So that was like, that made me think like, well, yeah, the way the game is, they want to shoot a lot of threes and layups, but not really that big man grind is popular anymore. But I feel like, yeah, there are a lot of bigs that probably could be all-stars if the game were like it was maybe maybe 6-7 years ago. Maybe.
So yeah, that brings the point, like, should we just put the position center back on the ballot? Like, for real, like the list we just read off, the East only had one. Come on. That's all. That's all. That's all we're saying. Jared Allen has been an anchor for the Cavs defense, so I feel like he could have been the biggest snub out of everybody.
Yeah. And
again, man, who's your pick again?
The Jonte.
Yeah, him too. Yeah,
he's a guard, but
he's been doing good. He has decent stats though. He's doing good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good defender as well. So,
I mean, I know that, you know, when you're talking about who got snubbed for the All-Star team, you got to take somebody out, right?
Right.
So, I guess the question is, who'd you swap out to get Jared Allen in there for the East?
Looking at the list again, most likely can't take the starters out. So I'm just looking at the reserves.
Who's Coach Q gonna cut? I mean, it's tough.
Potential. I mean, one person from the reserve potentially is just probably Chris Middleton for me, because Fred is playing. You know, he's playing. I think he's just serving the spot.
Yeah,
he's literally leading the Raptors to the playoff spot. So, it's between him and Chris. Honestly, I'm not gonna take Darius off. He's definitely helping his squad get all the way to the top 4 seed. So
there is a showtime. I can't lie.
Can ball.
Yeah.
So, Chris, he hasn't been balling out like we expected him to be. Anyway,
he has his moments where he's like
in there.
Yeah,
that's what I would do, me personally. But yeah, who we take off in the you would have to look in the West.
Yeah.
What would you move to get Jonte in there?
I won't even touch the starters. I mean,
can't. You gotta do reserves.
Okay.
I know you wish you could, but you can't.
I would leave the starters as they are. Andrew Wiggins too. Like, you know, shut up.
I was saying, you gotta leave them in there.
But I think for me, I would probably say Draymond. And it's not because I don't think Draymond is deserving of an All-Star award, but I feel that his stats compared to DeJounte's are just going to be very different. Even though Draymond is a very important part of the Warriors, you know, system. I think DeJounte just has that edge on him for our stats. Like, I feel like Draymond averages probably like 8 and 7 or something like that, which is, you know, all he needs to do, and they win. But DeJounte's like at 19 and 6, and he's
averaging 19.6 points, 9 assists, 8.5 rebounds,
so almost
2 steals a game, and 2 steals a game. So that he's stats wise very deserved.
Oh yeah. So I would say Draymond.
You're right about Draymond. He's on the average about 8 points. About around 8. I'm rounding here. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists.
That's what he
Pretty.
does though.
Yeah, that's what he does. It's pretty good, pretty decent. But like you said, that compared to Jonte is. So yeah, I can see that Draymond being
the only argument for Draymond here is that his impact on winning. You know what I mean? Like his 8-8 are a very important 8-8 because he's like the facilitator of offense. He's the defensive anchor.
Right, it's almost like the glue.
For real, yeah, he's the glue guy. So without him, they we've seen the stretches where they've missed him and they didn't do so well. So it makes a difference. But I would just give DeJounte that edge on the All-Star ballot.
Yeah, let's see that.
But I mean, overall, I am not mad at this list. I agree with you too on Middleton. I would probably, Chris Middleton, we know he's good. He just has to come out and show it because he has his times where he's just inconsistent.
Yeah. Who's the so based on this list now, you got the full list. Who's the biggest surprise pick to you?
The biggest surprise of the reserves.
Be both starters and reserves. You got the full list. The biggest surprise total of an All-Star. Like, wow, this person made an All-Star. Surprised about that.
Well, we talked about Wiggins last week.
It's still been your answer this week. So you got the full list now.
Looking at his season, like it makes sense that he's an All-Star. Like starter, I'm still like, oh, Wiggins is starting. Oh, I'm still on that. But I think he deserves it. He should get that nod. But I'm gonna go with. Honestly, I think the biggest surprise for me was probably Garland. And I know it. Like I've been. The Cavs have put everybody on notice that they aren't mediocre. But Garland making the All-Star team was not something I expected. He has the stats, and like I said, he's Showtime. When you watch them play, he's fun to watch. But All-Star this year, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect him to be, like you said, 32-21 or having a winning record at this point in the season. So that's my biggest surprise. But I'm happy about that. I'm glad to see that, he's getting that recognition. A young player, this is going to boost his confidence. And hopefully, he elevates and we see more of this in the next coming seasons.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I just looked through the list one more time, and I guess for me is since you covered him, I'll cover the other person. To me, Fred VanVleet, to me, surprising that he made it. This is his first All-Star appearance as well. That just tells because at the beginning of the season, I think the Raptors were like out of it. I don't think they weren't even in contention at first. And I know Fred has he's had a couple of highlights that shows his leadership, shows how he's leading the Raptors to wins. I'm a little bit disappointed in the play of some of the players. For example, I was hoping Pascal Siakam would kind of take the mantle and be that franchise player, but clearly he's not, at least right now. He's not. But Fred plays a huge part of that. And I'm surprised to see him make the list. It's a happy surprise. It's like, oh, Fred VanVleet made it. That's cool. That's what's up. So I'm happy for him in that way. So yeah, as far as Wiggins, I agree. He deserves to be on the list based on stats alone. I think he deserves to be on there. But the fact that he's a starter, it's still kind of surprising. He got enough fan votes, and enough media votes to be a starter over some of these other guys. So that's all I'm saying there.
So Sorry, I'm just thinking about the reaction from last time we talked about Wiggins. It's surprising. I'm surprised he's starting, but deserving, yes.
He deserves it. I don't mind being an all-star. We talked about last time.
Yeah,
it's just that I think he's a starter.
Yeah,
crazy. Anyway,
shout out to Wiggins though.
Shout out to all the players that made the list, man. That's what's up.
What about one more question about the list.
Yeah.
So, the starters. We got the full team. What do you think about the starting lineup, or what changes would you make?
Well, one, you figure out who they're going to replace first, because of course, KD not playing. Let me see. Was there somebody else? I think that was it. I think the West is good. LeBron just came back, so he's playing.
Yep.
I think that's about it. Once we get the full scope, I can have a better answer. But right now, I know we gotta see. It depends on how they pick the teams anyway.
True.
No, because they don't combine a pool and you can pick how the starters wherever you want. So, we'll see. We'll see who's a better GM. We can start. We can pretend ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's predict a little bit. So, we'll do a short version of this. Who will be your first pick in the draft? And who you think is going to be the last pick in the draft? We're going to do 2 rounds of this. All right?
Okay.
Because first there's a starter pool.
Yeah.
And then after that, you pick from the reserves. I think they pick first based on his fan voting.
I think so.
LeBron's going to pick first.
Yeah.
Then KD will pick first from the reserves.
Yeah.
So either way, that means you can't use either one in your picks. Can't do that because they're the ones picking.
Pretty much.
All right, so based on that, based on the starters, who you pick first? You got the full pool of starters. Who you picking first?
I'm KD or LeBron. First player I pick. This is. I'm glad I'm not a GM. I feel like I'll be failing at this, but I'm gonna pick Giannis. I'm gonna go with Giannis as my first pick of the starters for sure.
Okay, I hear you. Let me give you. All right, so here I go. So if I'm LeBron, I would pick Steph first. If I'm KD, I pick Giannis first.
Okay. Why is that?
Reason why? Because the better compliments.
True.
LeBron.
Okay.
Steph on the outside, LeBron. Oh, that's all day. Perfect combination. KD, as far as concerned, same thing, opposite.
KD can do everything.
Presence, KD shooting. I'm just saying this is a better combo.
Yeah.
So if I'm LeBron, I'm picking Steph first. If I'm KD, I'm picking Giannis first. But overall, so despite all that, so I guess my answer will be since LeBron's gonna pick first, most likely be Steph then.
Steph was my second choice.
Yeah. So we're still in the same ballpark. It's not gonna be Giannis and Steph. So
yeah,
same ballpark. Now, out of the starters, who's being picked last? Because unfortunately, this is gonna be televised. It should be. I'm glad they're still doing that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a little embarrassment being last, but it just shows you got more to prove. You want to ball out All-Star Weekend, prove everybody wrong. But anyway, who's gonna be the last pick to you? But it's out of the starters, the last pick.
The last pick out of the starters, I honestly think Trae Young would be. Okay. I think he'll be the last pick.
Okay.
And only because I feel that the other guys are. Trae's just small. He's barely 6 feet. He's barely like my height.
Okay.
And while he's good, but if I'm looking at Giannis, Joel Embiid, DeMar DeRozan, Wiggins, Jokic, Curry, Ja. Like, I'll take those guys before Trae Young. That's just me. But I know they're like, his size doesn't really matter. It's all-star, no defense, whatever. But I still feel like Trae will be the last. I'm gonna go with Trae Young being last pick of the starters.
All right. You made a good argument.
I mean,
that's a good argument though, for real.
That's my.
Yes, you gotta think about the defense, man. That's true.
I feel like.
So yeah, you go ahead.
I feel like Trae will be fun to play with, but all of these guys, are pretty much, kind of like need the ball in their hands, and Trae will find them, but I feel like it's just I don't know if it'll be enough ball for.
All I gotta say, I feel
like Trae's gonna be pulling up from half court a lot.
Right. That's all I'm gonna say. Whoever picking the GM, make sure you have Steph and Trae on the same team. I know the All-Star game don't have defense anyway, but I mean,
it very well could happen
anytime you want, especially considering the players you're going against here, because the other players in this pool are like taller, more athletic. But it would be cool to see Trae and stuff like here, shoot from half court. Now your turn, shoot from half court.
I mean, that was kind of like him and Dame last year. They were just exchanging the threes.
I know that, and again, defense is hard to play in the All-Star game anyway. So
the fourth, you know what I mean? Like
even in the fourth quarter,
yeah.
We need to talk about changing the All-Star game.
I mean, they're making it a little more competitive with
they're trying.
They're trying, but it's also a break for the players. So it's just kind of like, they aren't trying to get hurt. They aren't trying to.
Yeah, man, but these point totals shouldn't be that high. Basketball is this, man? This ain't 2K.
200 points.
Exactly. No.
Do you think we get 200 points this year in the All-Star game?
Man, I don't see why not. I wouldn't be surprised. And this is going.
We got like what 160 last year or something like that. Crazy.
1 year is super. Yeah. What year was that? It was super crazy. 1 year.
What was the year that? One of those years, like 80 dropped like 50, right? Himself.
I think so, because it was in that's probably one that was in New Orleans, because nobody tried to get the home star to get the hometown person to get the MVP.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, shout out to the new trophy. What do you think of the new trophy, real quick? It's named after Kobe Bryant All-Star Game trophy. This looks way different from the Kia. No, the Kia one was more circular, standard looking. This one's looking more like it kind of reminds me of another trophy in sports. Looked almost like the baseball one, a little bit. World Series trophy, almost looks similar to that. It's like really cylinder and like it looks nice though.
It is definitely an improvement.
It's definitely more stand out. Stands out a lot. So
love it. Just love it. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, the legend, he's an all-star monster. So it is only right to make if you're gonna make a Kobe Bryant trophy, it's got to be worthy of that name. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see like all the different levels to it. It's a nice trophy, and I feel like it's an improvement from just the general, well, not general, but like I feel like the other MVP award was just kind of like a generic trophy. This, I feel like guys are gonna be like, obviously it's Kobe's name on it, and it just looks taller, better. So guys are gonna go like compete to get that. I feel like a little bit more. So I love it. And shout out to the NBA for commemorating Kobe.
Yeah, shout out to NBA. So now we gotta do our second part with the reserves. So you picking first in the reserves.
Okay. So So my first pick. This is where I feel
this
like
is a tougher one right here.
This is tough.
This is a tough one right here. Yeah.
Ooh, man, I might. Oh man, this is. I think I might have to go. I think I'm gonna go Chris Paul.
Huh.
And
first,
I'm gonna go Chris Paul because.
Okay.
When it comes down, I'm just thinking like the fourth quarter, like it's money time. Like I want the ball in Chris Paul's hand, and I feel like the last couple of All-Stars we've seen him, man, he took control of the game and pretty much boosted the team. And I feel safe with Chris Paul having the ball in those clutch moments. Even if he's not shooting the shot, he's gonna make the play. And combine him with potentially LeBron or Embiid or any of these guys, like down the stretch. I feel like he's a worthy asset, so I'm gonna take him off the board immediately. I'm sticking with Chris Paul.
That's a very good point. Very good point. To me,
I think I know what you're gonna say, but I'm gonna wait till
you know what I'm going with.
I think I did.
All right. First I'm going with though. All right. I say you get Luka. See.
Okay.
You think I was going there? You think I was going there? Did you?
I didn't think so. I thought you were gonna go different,
man. For real.
Okay.
That's always my first reaction to the question. I would take Luka. I think based on draft, what you're trying to do right now, is the best player available. And to me, the best player available right now is Luka. You probably thought I was going James Harden.
I did.
No, I'm not. He ain't playing like it right now. He's not playing like that.
That's fair.
We talked about last podcast. That man's not happy. So
it's too cold.
If he was playing more like James Harden, I know, immediately.
Yeah.
Like the best player in this pool is Luka, so I'm drafting him. But you had a good point about Chris Paul. He could literally mesh with any rotation you put out there.
Yeah.
So good point about that. But for me, best player, taking Luka. Now, last pick. This is the last pick of the whole thing.
Okay.
They call it in football, they call it something. I can't think of the phrase right now. It's slipping my mind. But anyway, last pick. Who you got?
The very last pick, I think of all the reserves. I think it's gonna be. Okay.
In the NFL, they call it Mr. Irrelevant. That's too mean.
I don't think this guy's irrelevant by any means.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of mean.
Yeah.
They're irrelevant because they're all-star. But
I mean, I get it. It's like
but
you're playing pickup and you got one guy left. It's like
last dude left.
It's like I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like it, right. And it's not. These are the best players in the world. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like a stigma to
anybody, man. But
I think
my answer. Go and pick.
I think Fred VanVleet is gonna be the last pick, and it's not because he's great. Like dude is like you said, leading Toronto right now. And to his story, bet on yourself, being undrafted, playing in the G League, winning the NBA championship, becoming an NBA All-Star. Like he's got a great story. He's playing well, but he's also like maybe like 5'10", and he's new, and I think he'll be the last pick. Not because he's not, and he might be, he might just have a breakout All-Star game, but I think he's probably going to be the last pick, and that might just be something to motivate him. So
should be. That's what I'm saying. No matter where you pick that, you can use that as motivation.
He's a shooter, man. I feel like he'll probably get some buckets.
I mean, but I agree with you. It's Fred for me.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it was going to be between him or Rudy. I think Rudy might be the pick before him.
Second to last.
Second to last. Might
You think he's gonna? Nah. I'm not gonna say that.
he might be second to last pick. Just thinking about the pool, because these are like, honestly, again, as a draft, you look at who's the best player available. I'm not saying Fred VanVleet's not talented, but
I understand.
because comparing him to Darius Garland, I would pick Darius Garland before I pick Fred VanVleet.
He's
and
just.
Other people, I would pick Rudy Gobert. I would pick Chris. I would pick Jason. I would pick Zach. He might not play either, but yeah, it's just how it is, man. At least he's an all-star and get some extra money. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to him.
That's where it is. That's where it is. Shout out to him to make an all-star in the first place. But yeah, that's where we at.
There.
Well, that's where we at. See, shout out to all the guys that made the all-star. Oh, last question.
Okay.
Last question about the all-star. Which reserve should have been the starter?
Very good question. Are we doing each conference or just?
You do Eastern, yeah. You do East Conference, East West.
Okay. For me, I think in the East, I would have started Zach LaVine.
That means then you got to put him over who though? I think I know who you're going with though.
Over Trae Young.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Over Trae Young. I mean, I feel like I've been on this like all season. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, coming into it, two guys that need the ball in their hands. It was questionable when they, made the trade, and they exploded. Zach still getting like 20, I want to say 25 plus. I don't know the averages, but him and DeMar DeRozan have been amazing for the Bulls. And he made the All-Star team last year and has not slowed down. I mean, he's had some injury issues, but I think other than that, they've been fantastic. Zach, I would have started Zach at the point, DeMar at the 2. And, KD, Giannis, Joel, they could pretty much play 4 or 5, whatever. But, yeah, I would have started Zach because I feel like they've been great. He's been playing great. Trae Young is good, but the Hawks have not been as good this year in comparison to what we thought they would be. So that's my pick for the East.
Okay. I can see that. And for me, honestly, go with your boy Jimmy. I'm surprised you didn't go with him though. I put him over Trae Young. For some of the same reasons. The Heat, where they at? They were the number 1 seed. Y'all still time for the number 1 seed, but still, Jimmy's leadership, he's getting buckets. He's getting whatever you need to the team succeed. I wouldn't mind seeing him starting over Trae Young. I think he can obviously be deserving of that nod.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I'm always go.
Yeah, I really was surprised he didn't go with Jimmy Butler because
the only reason I didn't go with Jimmy is because I feel like Zach has played just a few more games, and to be honest, like Jimmy is the engine of our team of the Heat, but he's missed a good bit of time. I want to say almost half of the season because of injury. Yeah. But I mean, and when he's playing, he's great. You know what I mean? Like he's solid, always. Yeah. But I just feel like Zach has played. I feel like it's surprising to see how well the Bulls have done, and Zach has played at the level he's playing at, and he's played more games. That's why I feel like I would just give it to Zach, because I feel like he just has been out. Jimmy's always going to compete, but he's missed a few more games. And honestly, I feel like Bam could have made it if he weren't, if he didn't get sidelined with his injury. He just came back not too long ago, so.
Good point.
But yeah, Jimmy would have been the second pick. He was the next guy up. So.
Gotcha. Um,
Let's get to the West because I think
West too.
I'm interested.
All
Like, you
right,
go
listen,
first.
listen. All right, listen. Honestly, I'm torn between two. I'm torn between Luka and Devin.
Okay.
But these are two I'm trying to figure out who I would start. But I would have to look at, and again, I didn't do deep analysis on the stats or anything like that. If I'm just picking based on of position of where the teams are and team success. So therefore, since the Suns are, well, the Mavs are fifth. I don't know, man. It's tough for me to pick. It's not between Luka and Devin. I'm gonna have to pick someone. So I'm gonna go with Luka.
Not mad at that at all.
I'm gonna go with Luka.
That's good.
It's honestly a toss up between the two, but I'm gonna go with Luka based on the sole fact that he does so much more for his team because he's a playmaker and a scorer.
Yeah.
And Devin, he's more the scorer, but you got Chris Paul, leadership playmaker. So that's the only reason I'm doing that.
Absolutely.
I'm sure his stats. I don't know if I need to deep dive on Devin's stats yet, but for sure, most likely Luka has more assists. So that's what I'm going with. And of course, I mean, not of course, but the person I would choose to replace over the starter, it will be Andrew Wiggins, sir. Andrew Wiggins will be in the reserve. Luka will be in the starter. Respectfully.
That's why I was waiting on the whole time. I knew you.
I mean, respectfully though.
Respectfully, you know what I mean? But expeditiously, Andrew Wiggins to the bench. I saw that coming. I feel you on that. Luka, like we said, we talked about how spectacular Luka is. Just got the new triple-double record for the Mavs. And just what, in his fourth year, maybe? If that. So very young star. But I'm not going to go with Luka. I'm going with Devin. I'm going with Booker. Simply because he is a bucket.
I thought you want to say Chris Paul.
Nah. I'm going to go. I like Chris. Chris Paul can start too, but I feel like Devin has been on a tear. Ever since the Raptor.
Recently, yeah, for real though. You're right.
He's been like lighting it up. I mean, that 48-point game against the Spurs, I watched that and he was just getting buckets off the mid-range, and I love that. So Devin will be my starter. I feel like number one team in the East, he's probably averaging 26, 27 at this point. He's solid. Like I would have said Devin, and I probably would have to agree with you for Wiggins. Respectfully, I think that Devin has had a better season than Wiggins, but Wiggins is not. It's not that he's not deserving of an All-Star nod or to be a starter. I would have picked Devin over him for the starting position.
Yeah. Yeah, again, shout out to all the All-Star players. Y'all, no matter what, where you fall on, start a reserve, you're well deserved for it. It'll be an accolade on your resume forever. An NBA All-Star. Not a lot of people can say that. So shout out to y'all.
Absolutely.
Honestly, in years, people gonna forget anyway who's a starter, who's a reserve. So I mean, it's all about is that you got the title.
Yeah. It's not about starting; it's about how you finish. So
very true. Very true.
Yeah. Shout out to all these All-Stars, reserve starters, first time, or 18 times like LeBron. So it's awesome.
Yeah. So they also announced the Rising Stars All-Star rosters. I'm just gonna highlight some names that people most likely know of. Because again, we're more familiar with who all these players are, but again, Kay Cunningham, number 1 overall pick. Of course, he's gonna be in there. You also have Evan Mobley balling out for the Cavs. Let me see what else. Of course, you got LaMelo Ball, Isaiah Stewart. If people know heard that name before, it's because they're instead of LeBron. But he's been playing well though. He's
a beast.
Well deserved. Scotty Barnes also well deserved.
Yeah.
Good young players. These are some really good young players. Jay McDaniels. A lot of people probably know about him. Just true. Josh Giddey. OKC. For real. Cole Anthony. Yeah. Tyrese Maxey. He's been doing good. Jalen Suggs. I think he was number 5 pick from the Magic, something like that. But yeah, a lot of good young talent we'll be able to see. And remember, they're also including some G League players. So
Ignite representing.
Yeah, you got Dyson Daniels, you got Jaden Hardy, Scoot Henderson, John Beauchamp. I don't know that last one. I heard of the other players though. I heard of the other G League players.
Yeah,
that's my first time I've seen that name though.
Yeah,
I've heard the other ones. I heard Scoot and Dyson, and Jaden. I think he has potential too. Be a good 2-way. But anyway, these are some young talent. Though how they're including G League in there. Oh, the coaches.
We got legends.
4 teams. Remember we talked about this other podcast. If you see it, go check it out. Change the rules, right? This time we have 4 teams. And be close by some hard players. Yeah. And so the coaches are going to be what was one of them? Mind blank. Now, Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas. You also got James Worthy. What the other 2?
Gary Payton and Rick Barry.
There we go. Yeah.
Members of the NBA 75th anniversary team.
Yep. And that's why they're coaching.
Legends, man. I think that's really dope too to, and honestly, I don't know if a lot of these young guys have heard of Rick Barry or I feel like Gary Payton is pretty popular. James Worthy, probably not as familiar with, but I feel like getting to know these guys, getting to be coached. I mean, they're it's all-star, but getting that experience is gonna help boost these guys a lot. They're in the same room with dudes that are literal NBA legends. So
yeah, all of them are. Each one of them are.
Absolutely.
Because of course we know them.
Yeah,
I heard of them in some fashion, but that's awesome.
Yeah,
just being in the presence of some of the greats like that. Now, playing and coaching 2 different things. I don't know how that would do with coaching, but let's see.
I mean, Gary Payton coached in the Big 3, so I feel like his coaching style is interesting. I want to see how that goes. But
this ain't similar to how he was as a player. It's gonna be very interesting. Boy,
shout out to GP, man. He's funny, man. He trips me out.
Oh yeah, man.
But I'm also just a goofy person, so there's that.
Shout out to all these young players. Take advantage of the opportunity. So y'all, I'm sure y'all excited for All-Star game. There'll be more announcements later on too. We still gotta figure out who's gonna compete in these different contests. So we gotta be on the lookout for that, and we'll react to that when that happens. But now let's get into some of the more trade rumors and trades that have happened. One of the biggest trades that just went on just now is Caris LeVert, young star for the Indiana Pacers. He has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Ricky Rubio, some second-round picks, and a lottery protected first-round pick.
Yep.
Reactions and thoughts on this trade?
This is a great trade for Cleveland. Already having a great season and a young team that's just hungry. Adding Caris LeVert, a 20-point per game scorer, a guy that effortlessly gets buckets. And he's a capable defender too. He's long, probably about 6'7", and you gave him up for Rubio and some. I don't know the exact details. I'm looking at it, but basically draft picks. That's a great trade for Cleveland. A great acquisition. So I think this is going to boost them a lot. Giving them another guy that can just put the ball in the basket, and still very, very young. So that's awesome. Great trade for Cleveland.
Great trade. It was looking kind of murky for Cleveland, especially after LeBron left again. I wasn't sure if we ever see him in the playoffs again or being talked about in this way, but clearly the front office and the management is doing their thing. You find all the right pieces to put together. I even go back to even just getting Jared Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Going all the way back there when they got him from the Nets. To have him, Darius Garland, who's already been there. And now you're about to add LeVert? Who can at least give you 20 a night.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
At least.
Easy 20. Easy 20 game.
And I am very impressed with the Cavs management. I'm very, very impressed by that staff over there. So, yeah. Great trade for Cleveland. Pacers, they're obviously getting ready to do another rebuilding stage. Obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sabonis maybe on trade block too.
I've been hearing Miles Turner a lot too.
Miles Turner, yeah, he's been on the block a lot as well. So we'll see. Obviously, when you're doing rebuild, you gotta get picks. OKC, we're doing the same thing. So
OKC, the kings of draft picks.
That's so many. So we're bound to hit a diamond. All these picks that we got. Yeah, so shout out to JB Bickerstaff though. He's the coach of the Cavaliers. Shout out to him.
Yeah, doing a great job
to get these players in this position. So, yeah. Another trade that happened.
Talk about it.
Let's see. So you had Norman Powell, right, from the Trailblazers.
Yep.
And
Robert Covington.
Yep, Robert Covington. Those two got traded to
Clippers.
Yep, the Clippers. Yeah. So my first reaction to that trade was, okay, the Clippers are already competitive without an all-star.
I'm missing their best two players right now.
That's what I'm saying. They don't even have an all-star. Listen to this. Kenny said this other night on Sunday NBA. He was like, he doesn't believe they have a 20 per game scorer on that team, but they're still finding ways to win. I agree with that. There's no one on there that can look like, hey, even with these new additions, I don't see him just like, hey, go on and give me 20. I don't see him doing that. This is like a true teamwork, get the win. It's somebody else's night. Somebody got the hot hand. Everybody's contributing. That type of team. This team has a lot of grit.
Yep.
And vast difference from what we've seen across the way with the Lakers. I said the Lakers would love to have those pieces that they just got, but they don't. So, but y'all better be glad. Lakers fans should be glad PG's not playing or Kawhi's not playing right now. Because if they were, this team could easily be in contention. Up there, I'm talking about up there with the Warriors, Suns.
Yeah. Up
there type contention. But right now, the trade helps them out to solidify a seed, at least in the playoffs, I believe. If not the playoffs, at least the play-in for sure, because they're still on the brink of the play-in. So, great trade for the great trade for the Clippers.
Oh yeah,
I used to wonder what's going to happen with the rest of the Blazers squad, because these are two key pieces here. They're core players.
They had just signed Norman Powell to a long-term contract too, so they just are resetting. It looks like.
Yeah, so leads you the question: what's going to happen to CJ? What's going to happen to Dame?
I I have an interesting theory about Dame.
Yeah.
So I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a post. Somebody posted Dame's IG live, and he said, "What's up?" LeBron jumped into the live, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "What's up, Bron?" He was laughing. I think it's time to make that call. It's time to make that call. So
Somebody like Dame did that in his live?
Dame said that in his live.
Wow. Okay.
And to be fair, I didn't like really research it or anything. I just happened to be scrolling and I noticed it. It might be from I don't know when it was from, but somebody posted it a few days after this trade, reposted it. I don't think Dame is gonna be. I don't think this is gonna make Dame happy. You know what I mean? Like to lose Norman Powell, Robert Covington, two-way players. They can, shoot. They can get baskets. The Blazers aren't doing well. CJ's been, in and out because of health issues. Dame himself has sat out because of abdominal surgery. I don't see, and now I'm hearing, I'm always going to hear trade rumors about CJ McCollum, but I don't see this team unless they make some sort of significant move and Dame comes back. I think Dame might be on the out for real, like on next season.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. I agree with everything you said right there.
Because I mean, to lose those two guys and I think we talked about this before. They got in return Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and future second round picks up for the Trailblazers. That's I don't know. I feel like the Blazers or Trailblazers are definitely the losers of this trade.
Oh, they're definitely losers of the trade, man.
And Dame and CJ both probably are like, what's going on?
I mean, honestly, we had to get to this point eventually because if you're always middle of the pack, it's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to compete for? Because you don't go past I take it back. Because they made it to the conference, like
Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, they just did. It's surprising though to be like that. You just made the Western Conference, and now that's because the start of the season was so rocky for the Trailblazers. I don't know the reason for that. And I know it's Chauncey's first year. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
they're
tough.
trying to make they tried to make changes, but
right. And now Chauncey's in a situation where he's about to be in the midst of a rebuild. It seems like.
Looks
similar to Houston coach
Steven.
First,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at first, you think you're gonna have James Harden, Russell Westbrook.
Nope.
To compete, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see what Silas would have done with James Harden and Russ, because Silas has done a lot of work with Luka and the Mavs, because they were like the Mavs. If y'all didn't know, they had like one of the best offensive ratings in a minute. But before Brooklyn got together, but still, it was really good. So I would love to see his offensive mind to work with Russ and James Harden to try to make that work. But of course, we didn't get that. So, and now he's in a position where it's like a rebuild, and so I wonder if it's gonna be the same thing. It's tough because I want to see these coaches compete.
Yeah,
so
definitely want to see, especially like a black coach. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm going fair. A black coach getting the fair. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not just being used for like rebuilds and things like that.
Yeah, I mean the whole Houston situation was atrocious, but different topic for a different day. But it looks that, Chauncey Billups is about to be in a situation similar. And I hate that for him. I like Chauncey a lot as a player, as a basketball mind. First year coaching, so I'm sure he's getting a lot of flack, but
yeah,
it's not all on him. That's all I'll say. But the Blazers are. This is not their year for sure. So
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So
shout out to the Clippers though. Like you said,
this definitely has some in the hunt.
When they do get Paul George and Kawhi Leonard back, with Morris, with Reggie, with Coffee, you know what I mean? Like this, they're gonna be solid. Surge. That's another name I forgot about. He's
been balling too.
I know. I saw Surge playing in the G League for a minute, and now he's
Now
he's time to come back,
doing this thing.
Yeah,
Surge it back. So yeah, this is really, really something. And of course, you have so many different trade rumors going on. I mean, we had things about Bradley Beal, we had things about Kemba, De'Aaron Fox. We're not gonna get into all that because all that is just still kind of speculation and rumors and who these teams are trying to target. And honestly, sometimes these teams put this out there just to see what the lay of the land is, Is there anything we could get for this player or this player? So we'll see.
We shall see.
There's one situation that I don't think is a rumor. Gotta go back to it.
Uh-oh.
James Harden. Last podcast, we talked about how upset this man is. He did not play today. And the Nets just suffered their 8th straight loss. 8 straight losses. That locker room is not happy. Winning cures everything. And when you ain't winning, there's gonna be some tensions and some stuff. Kyrie played, but it wasn't enough.
Kyrie came out and said that he still hasn't really been able to adjust because of his ankle injury as well. Kevin Durant is not playing.
He's not playing. And then Kyrie say it's like a part-time. Did he not say that? He said that, right?
I don't know.
You keep talking. I'm gonna make sure I get the right quote up. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, Kyrie while it's been, it's good to see him back. He still hasn't really made an impact because of, I guess, just the lack of consistency. He only plays road games, and if they're not on a road streak, he's out for whatever amount of games. KD's hurt. Harden still is battling his hamstring issues, and obviously has tried to change his game a little bit, kind of playing second fiddle with KD. And I mean, it's a lot of weight on a guy that thought he was going to be in a situation with 2 of the best players in the league, and now you're, regretting your decision. It's kind of sucks for James. You know what I mean? He can't really. I feel like he can't be him. You know what I mean? In Houston, obviously he was the man and he could do what he wanted. And he's still James Harden. He can still get buckets, but I feel like he's been trying to be on this adjustment for so long, and now there's no camaraderie. It's just kind of like a bunch of stuff going on in Brooklyn outside of basketball that is difficult to deal with, and you're losing. So
yeah, it's definitely a lot. So you got all the losing going on. You got Kyrie being a part-time player. You got KD. You can't really. It's okay, KD being hurt. It's okay. That's understandable.
Next month.
Just the situation itself is just so frustrating. And I get that. And so this is the actual quote though from Kyrie though. He said, so let me get this straight. This is in an article from the Athletic. Apparently, the reporter spoke to his aunt, and the aunt was having dinner with Irving one day, and they were having a conversation where Irving apparently disclosed that the NBA is more or less just a job in his eyes. And he told her that basketball was, just really was more or less just a job. That's it. So, we know Kyrie's stance is he's different. He's clear. And I'm not gonna say basketball is everything. I mean, clearly there's life outside of basketball.
Yeah.
But during the season and during the grind, everybody's like, the more together you are, focus on the same goal, the better your chances, the better the chemistry. And that's similar to what we're seeing here with this 8-game losing streak, the inconsistency.
Yeah.
That combined with the injuries it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, honestly, when you think about how the team is built still, I mean, they made improvements by getting Patty Mills. They signed LaMarcus Aldridge. They have Blake Griffin, even though he's technically out of the rotation. They cut Paul Millsap. I still don't know who the team is outside of those names.
Right.
DeAndre Bembry, maybe. I don't know anyone else.
That sounds familiar.
But yeah, I don't know, man. James Harden. I still think that I feel like it's gonna be experimental. They're gonna like toy with it, think about it, but not really do anything. I feel like James is gonna be still a member of the Nets.
Yeah, let's continue the story because eventually, a couple days later, after we got reports that the Nets were full go from Shams, and Shams is almost just as reliable as Woj in that area.
Oh yeah.
So Shams put it out like, hey, the Nets are open for a trade to trade James Harden, and of course you got Philly, of course, looking into it. We'll see what happens. And then a few days later, KD comes out saying Harden wants to be here. Then you got Steve Nash, the coach, coming out saying we ain't letting go of Harden. But
James Harden is not.
they're not the GM.
They are not.
They're not. And I personally think that James Harden is out of there.
Oh man.
We'll see what happens though. If we're wrong, we're wrong. But I think he's out of there. Now, as a GM, I think you should keep him, and then let the contract run out, and do a sign and trade, get some assets back. But it's a risk when you do that though. It's in the player's best interest to do a sign and trade because that way he can keep the bird rights, and when the contract's up again, he can get a bigger contract. But I don't know. It's always a risk because, speaking from OKC fan, we let KD's contract run out. We ain't getting no assets back. None. So it's a risk. But I don't know. Is it so based on this 8 straight loss and all this James Harden miss and all the drama and the Kyrie not playing consistently, is it time to hit the panic button for the Knicks?
I wouldn't hit the panic button necessarily because you still have KD, and any team with KD is going to be fine as long as they take their time with him and allow him to come back strong from his injury. They'll be okay as far as like playoff contention and everything. But this James Harden situation is a rough patch for sure. I just don't. If I'm just this is just me. Ben Simmons is obviously the player where when Philly and Brooklyn come up, that's the name, Ben Simmons. And right now, I still even with James Harden not being 100% or having a diminished role or not being the James Harden that we know him to be, I'm still taking that James Harden over Ben Simmons compared to, and respectfully.
Yeah, that's the thing about Ben.
I'm taking.
He has decreased his trade value so much just by not playing. And the last time we saw him was unfortunately when he didn't want to take a layup over Trae Young. That's the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
And this stuff that's going on right now, we ain't get into all that either, but I don't know. It's a lot of question marks around Ben Simmons right now. And his decision making, and we didn't really get into it, but like he's trying to get his money for the season. He's up to like millions of dollars in fines for not playing. And the reason he's not playing is because of mental. Maybe we talked about that. And compared to some people around the league, it looks kind of, if you focus on mental health, why not just focus on that and not, I don't know. It's a gray area right now. I don't know, man.
I don't know his. I'm not ever going to question anyone's,
right,
or mental health.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want, like, if he says it, I'm inclined to believe him. But apparently around the league, it seems like there's a hint like they don't believe it based on reports of like from people that are prominent in the league, like Stephen A. Smith and other people that follow closely the league, Broussard, other people. So like, it's tough.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're not saying that he's not going through it, just saying that there's speculation.
Yeah. I'm not doubting he's trying to mentally rehabilitate or become mentally healthy in a state. But I think what comes into play with his situation is the fact that Philly has offered.
They offer help, but he's not seeking that. That's the issue.
He's taking the fines. He's losing money at this point, and money obviously doesn't mean everything to everyone. It shouldn't, but
if he at least report, they can at least justify paying him at least. Like, and again, they try to help him. I don't know at this point. He's just
I don't know,
so down, and it's like, as a team, do you want to take that risk? Is he even mentally ready to play? What's to say you trade for him? Is he going to play? Is he in the condition to play? That's the thing.
The only thing with this hypothetical Brooklyn Philly trade is that is for me, what I would listen to is if I'm going like a package. You know what I mean? Like if you want James Harden and you want me to take Ben Simmons, give me Tobias Harris, give me Maxey, give me like a package or something. I need
Maxey in any of those deals.
I need something. Like Tobias Harris has been like rumored to be in the trade block, and I don't know if Philly really wants to give him up because I feel like he's a great player. He's a great asset for the team, but if I'm Brooklyn, there's no way I'm just like Simmons and some draft picks or cash considerations, whatever. There's no way I'm just taking Ben Simmons. And then, like you said, is he gonna play? Is he gonna be mentally able to play? And
I just thought about
he meshed with this team, with KD, with part-time Kyrie. Like, there's a lot of question marks that I would rather not risk if I'm the Nets.
Yeah, I just thought about this too. If you can't face Phillies fans, don't let New York get a hold of you.
Brooklyn, best side.
I'm just saying New York, period.
Right?
Because New York supports New York teams as a whole. Yeah. So like, if he, I hope the best for Ben Simmons, bro. Because I don't know. We did not see his career being like this right now.
He was supposed to be the second LeBron. A lot of people thought he was a left-handed LeBron. He was a jump shot away. But now it looks like he's
still a kind of a jump shot away. And just the mindset now. And
but
his team is doing so well. Literally. Without him. So can you imagine you have an all-star that is not playing, but your team is this level, and you don't want to try to get a championship just because of whatever's going on? They have a good chance to get a championship this year if he was playing and if he was like on the right,
I mean,
everyone
everyone
had a good chance, but because of that, it decreases your title chances.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Philly, I would try to get some type of value back that can help me win now. But wow, Joel Embiid's balling out his mind right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people have been talking about wasting this year of Joel Embiid's prime. He's playing. He's not hurt. He's playing phenomenally. He's an MVP candidate. Philly is still legit. They have a window right now, and not only Ben Simmons, we know he's like, all right, he's pretty much checked out, right? But then there's flack on Daryl Morey, on the organization, for not making the call, not making a move, or seeming like they're trying to like just slowly walk this trade through. And I don't know. I feel like it's tough because I get it. Like, Daryl Morey wants a lot for Ben Simmons. He wants another All-Star. And when Ben Simmons was, playing and healthy, he's an All-Star caliber player. But I don't know. At this point, he's just refusing to play. Whether it's, I'm not questioning the mental health, but I don't know. I haven't heard of anything that he's done to do that besides sitting out, not being in Philadelphia. And at this point, I would like to see something done about that. I would, if I'm a Philly fan, especially, like, I don't want to waste this time. Like, this is our chance to get a title with Embiid playing and healthy, which is his only problem is health.
The issue. Yes, such a good chance, man. It's tough. It's being, like you said, it seems like you're being wasted by it. So
they could be competing for a championship like this year. Honestly, if
the East this is the most vulnerable the East has been right now.
Yeah.
It's clear the Nets are not the heavyweights like we thought they would be.
The Nets, I said that last week. Like, the Nets are in disarray, and this is the time. If my Heat, Philly, Milwaukee, like Chicago, this is the time. Like, I'm attacking, like, right now. Like, this is I'm about to grind, like the All-Star break.
Yeah, because everybody's at the same level in the East. To me, that's competing.
Yeah,
there's no one that's just way up here than everybody else.
It's wide open.
It's a little bit like that, but in the East, it's wide open. In the East,
it's wide open. Like 1 through 5, legit have a chance.
Yeah, they legit have a chance to win. But in the West, it's still like Warriors, Suns, everybody else. Like,
pretty much. Yeah.
So,
I mean, Grizzlies. Shout out to the Grizzlies.
Shout out to Grizzlies too. You're right. Good point.
They're playing amazing basketball right now, man. John Morant, MVP candidate, in my opinion. I love it. I love it.
That'd be interesting to see a young. Okay.
I love Memphis, man.
D Rose vibe.
Just said they run up the chimney. They don't. They want all the smoke. So I love it.
That'd be cool to see. I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
But man, just do something. Anyway, we'll see what'll be done.
We'll see
what'll be done. But we'll be talking about this, and we're gonna have our live, right? When we'll do a live stream we'll react to all the trade content, and we also react to other news around the NBA around that time, because we're bound. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of stuff. Just like we said, with the East being wide open, this is the team's chances now to make something happen, which is, again, another good move for the Cavs to get carries.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. But yeah, everyone tune in Thursday, February 10th, 8 o'clock Central Time, PM. Tune in, YouTube Live, Facebook. We're going to be discussing whatever news has happened or is happening, all-star stuff, everything. Tune in, tap in with us for sure.
Yep. It's going to be exciting. We can answer your questions right there, live, and
oh, yeah.
Great conversation. Everybody be ready for that.
Oh, yeah. We love the Swishes. We see y'all. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Liking, sharing, subscribing, listening, watching. We appreciate it. Stay tuned.
Yep. And shout outs for the people before we go. Anything in the league that caught your eye, want to shout them out?
Definitely, man. In the WNBA, we have some transactions, some big ones, really big ones. Like at the same time as the trade deadlines, like blowing my mind. But shout out to Tina Charles, man. Tina Charles, the WNBA's leading scorer this past season, just signed with the Phoenix Mercury.
Okay.
So that's going to be a monster team. Brittany Griner, Diana Taurasi, go status. Skylar Diggins-Smith, and now Tina Charles. They're legit. Like this might be their year. I'm sorry. This might be Phoenix's year. I'm just saying. Also, shout out to Liz Cambridge, just signed with the Sparks. Gonna be in that front court with Nika. It's gonna be dope. They are also gonna be up there for contention. I love to see it. Shout out to Black people. It's Black History Month. This is our first episode in Black History Month. I love to be able to do this, represent us. Shout out to the NBA for also, they have the, I almost forgot to talk about this earlier, the fellowship, NBA HBCU fellowship. So they're trying, they're making efforts to highlight our culture, our schools, our people. So shout out to the league for always being progressive, for doing, things like that. And yeah, that's it, man. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah. Man, yeah. Shout out to WNBA. Got some very exciting things going on. Getting some super teams over there, some super duos and stuff.
Big Four.
Big Four. The Big Four now, for real. Crazy.
For real, yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, shout out to WNBA. Shout out to the NBA as a whole. Piece of news real quick. Their salary cap is gonna bump up next year. So this year, the salary cap is like 121 mil. Next year it will jump up to 1 second. I just saw it. It's gonna jump up to it's gonna jump up to 121 projected salary cap. And the tax level is gonna be 147 mil. So that means the NBA is doing well. A lot of people watching NBA basketball, supporting it. So yeah, shout out to NBA.
Absolutely.
And shout out to all those NBA players. And yeah, shout out to all the all-star players again, rising stars, coaches, making the game better. And shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for sharing, subscribing, supporting us. Remember, please check out our live stream on Thursday. Also check out for more upcoming content from us. So Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah. So this is the Kid Guru signing off. See y'all Thursday.
This is Zay, the executive producer. I'll see y'all Thursday as well. Peace. Oh.